everyone for some more of my AFC Wimbledon career mode here on FIFA 21. And we are at the end of Season 1, and this is Episode 10, which was about a number of episodes I was hoping I'd be taking here in this first season, because I do want this career mode to go at a reasonable pace. But before we get into things here, hopefully you guys have an awesome day today. Hope you guys are doing well. First things first, we did win Manager of the Month award here. And not sure if any of our guys were nominated, which doesn't look like. 2 Milton Keynes guys were nominated for Player of the Month. None of my guys ended up getting Player of the Month, sadly, but it doesn't matter because we are going to be going up as champions, and not only are we going up, but our arch rivals Milton Keynes Dons are going to be going up as well, and Colchester will be joining us as well. But you can see we finished with 39 wins, 4 draws, and 3 losses. We finished, okay, that's what, 22 points ahead of Milton Keynes Dons, and 27 points ahead of Colchester. Tranmere, Bradford, Fleetwood, and Crewe Alexandra faced off in the playoffs, which we'll be getting into that here pretty soon. Now, one thing I do have to show you in the FA Cup, which is going to shock, I wonder if it's going to shock you as much as it shocked me. We did make it all the way to the final where we ended up losing to Manchester City 2-0. But we did end up repeating our FA Cup mastery of Liverpool. We ended up beating them 2-1 in the semi-finals. And of course, you guys in the previous episode saw where I ended up simming the game against Wolves and beating them. And then 5th round, we ended up beating Sheffield United on penalties. And I did show you our progress throughout a few episodes ago, so I'm not even going to bother with that. Carabao Cup, which I don't think I showed you guys this because the final would have been sometime in February, but Liverpool did end up beating Wolves 2-0. We ended up getting knocked out, I believe, in this 4th round, which we did against AFC Bournemouth. I know I showed you guys at the halfway point how that went. But we are going to go ahead. Papa John's Trophy was won by Wigan Athletic. They did end up beating Colchester, which, like I said before, Colchester is going to be joining us and MK Dons in League 1. Now, League 2 playoffs, who will be the 4th team going up, and that will be Fleetwood Town. They end up beating Crewe Alexandra 1-0. Fleetwood absolutely smashing Bradford City in the second leg, which I was actually hoping Bradford would have been promoted, but you can see Crewe Alexandra edging out Tranmere. European Cup, I already showed. That's the preseason term. I showed that at the halfway point. Now, European competitions, Bayern won the Super Cup at the beginning of the year. They end up beating Sevilla on penalties. Champions League was won by Manchester City. They beat Atletico Madrid 3-0 in the Julian Alvarez derby. And then the Europa League was won by Bayer Leverkusen, who beat RB Leipzig in an all-German final. But we are going to take a look at stats here real quick before we look at the rest of England. But you can see Novak from Bradford City finishing with 4 more goals, and Ferrier from Tranmere, and Andre Yvonne, of course, plays for us. McLaughlin with 14 goals, very impressive, and Lopez with 12. Top assists went to actually Andre Yvonne. He got 1 more assist than Morris, Ryan Kent, and Dearnley. Only player to get double digits in assists. And clean sheets, I still can't believe Ferreira, 17 clean sheets in 21 appearances. Walker, 12 clean sheets in 24 appearances. That's 29 clean sheets in 46 games for our goalkeepers. That's just absolutely phenomenal. Clean sheet, Ferreira's with 2 clean sheets and 5 FA Cup appearances. Again, phenomenal stuff. Josh Scowen ended up getting the most assists alongside George Thomas and Leonardo da Silva Lopez, among a whole mess of other players with 3 assists. Top goal scorers, Harry Kane, no surprise there. Andre Yvonne won behind him and Giuliano from Arsenal. Kent ended up getting 3 goals. Our youth academy graduate also getting 3, which is very impressive. And we got Lyle Taylor with a couple. Carabao Cup, Mo Salah with the most goals there. We've got knocked out relatively early in this competition, so I really don't think there's really any of our guys we're talking about. Papa John's, I already showed that. And I already showed that in the halfway point, so. But we are going to take a look at the rest of England and see how things went. We are going to start with the Premier League. Premier League was won by Liverpool, ended up overcoming Manchester City, finishing 4 points ahead of the Sky Blues. Manchester United and Spurs round out the top 4. Arsenal will be playing Europa League football. Newcastle finishing comfortably in 10th after having a little bit of a relegation scare at the halfway point, but relegated teams are Bournemouth, the team that knocked us out in the Carabao Cup, Brentford, and Ipswich all going down. Ipswich only getting 1 win all year. They actually, with that point total of 10, set the new record for lowest Premier League tally, even fewer points than what Derby County achieved. But EFL Championship, Watford and Burnley going up to the Premier League rather comfortably. But Preston, Sheffield United, Norwich, and Cardiff battled out in the playoffs. Relegated teams are Hull, Portsmouth, and Plymouth. So we'll be seeing those 3 teams next season in League One. I have to be mindful of that. League One, Huddersfield lost their invincible season, but they still finished comfortably ahead of Derby County and Birmingham City, which Huddersfield and Derby are going to the championship, where Birmingham, Wigan, Reading, and Peterborough ended up playing in the playoffs for promotion. And Stevenage, Cambridge, Doncaster, and Port Vale are going down to League Two. But take a look at objectives here real quick. Youth development, which we already achieved that. We failed to sign 1 young player. That's because of the transfer embargo. Now, you do see that we sold 2 players, which I am going to talk about here pretty soon. And, of course, we did not sign the 1 crucial. But I did end up, like I said, at my halfway point. We are, which I didn't even show you guys in the calendar. We are on, I believe, June 3rd or 4th, which, like I said, the halfway point. From June 2nd on, our transfer embargo has been lifted. And believe you me, I did make some moves in order to strengthen this for next season, which I'll show you guys that here in a bit. Which, what day are we on? We are on, no, we're on the 7th, I'm sorry. But yeah, I did manage to get some deals done, but before we talk about that, I do want to show you guys, which I won't show you guys the Youth Academy because I promoted or released everybody. I'm going to talk about transfers here real quick, which really isn't, as a matter of fact, the only 2 things that we've done since the halfway point video. We did end up selling Adarius Charles to Blackpool for $410K, and we did end up selling Darnell Johnson, which Darnell Johnson, we also have our goalkeeper Sam Walker and our center midfielder George Dobson. For whatever reason, this game, the default squad of this game, they were supposed to be loan players, but for whatever reason, whenever I started to save, they ended up being permanent players. I don't know if that's a glitch or not, but Darnell Johnson really should have only been a loanee alongside Sam Walker and George Dobson, so I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but I did end up selling these 2 players. But, like I said, that is pretty much, we did loan out that Jack Madeline on a short loan move to Doncaster, but those really are the only 3 moves that we've done since the halfway point video that was back in episode 7, and we did win Manager of the Month, which I did show you in the news feed earlier. But we are going to go ahead. This is what the team is shaping up right now. Like I said, whether you're looking at the default or the backup, this was extremely OP, and like I said before several times, my ultimate goal is to replace at least everybody in the starting lineup that's was part of my MasterBucks, the squad that I inherited from the MasterBucks. I mean, and my reasoning for that is because, yes, this is supposed to be kind of like a continuation of his career mode, but I don't really want to piggyback off a squad that I inherited from. Bad enough I had to do that in this season because of the transfer embargo. But from next season on, I want to have like 2, maybe 3 players from his squad left on his team, and I want everybody else as original players, players that I brought in myself. But I will tell you that Andre Vaughn is definitely one of the players that I inherited from the MasterBucks that I do intend to keep. And what I'm going to do whenever I look at the stats here, show you guys the stats, I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to go through each player and I'm going to tell you guys whether I'm going to keep them or I'm going to sell them. So without further ado, we are going to get into things here. And it should be no surprise, Andre Vaughn, 31 goals, 12 assists, 43 goal contributions, and 46 appearances. Now, if the J-Bucks medal was still going on its career mode, I can almost guarantee you that Jake would have had Andre Vaughn win for the 3rd straight season. This guy's been absolutely incredible. This guy is going to be with me for the distance. He may not necessarily be my starting striker for the rest of this career mode, but he is going to be on this team throughout the entirety. Even if it's on the bench or on my backup team, he's going to be on my team. So I'm definitely going to go ahead and keep him. Also, like I said several times, Ryan Kent, I am transfer listing him. He's just having an 81 rated winger in League One. It's just a little bit too ludicrous for me, and I do want to raise some funds. That way we could get some of the other players that we didn't already get from our transfer embargo being lifted. So that is one way I'm going to raise funds, by selling him. Shane McLaughlin, a default player from the Wimbledon side here in FIFA 21. He is an absolute keep. This guy's been absolutely phenomenal for me. Leonardo Lopez, I am going to move him on despite getting 14 goals and 10 assists. He was rather unspectacular for me, if I'm being honest, and I feel like this is another guy that I can cash in, bring a little bit of revenue, and that way I can get some of the guys on my short list, which I probably shouldn't say this until I show you guys, but I already have found my replacement for Leonardo Lopez, which I'm going to show you guys in a little bit. And I've also found a replacement for Lyle Taylor here as my backup striker. 13 and 3, 39 appearances, rather unspectacular. He is 31 years of age. I was going to sell him anyway, so he is definitely a guy I'm going to be transfer listing. Julian Ngoy, he really hasn't been that bad. I mean, 12 and 6 and 44 isn't something to write home about, but every time I've played with him in game, he hasn't been bad. But I really do think I am going to go ahead and sell him next season. That way I can bring in somebody like an Anthony Gordon or a Crescencio Somerville. So he's going to be another guy that's going to be moving on. George Thomas is an absolute keep. He has been a trooper for me in this. The fact that he's grown by 5 on his team, I honestly was not expecting him to grow any more than 2. I was on when I first started his career mode, I said to myself, this guy grows beyond 65, I'll be amazed. But he has made it to 68, and he will definitely be, at the very worst, my backup center attacking mid. But this is another guy like Andre Vaughn. I could easily see him going the distance for me in this career mode if he keeps up this growth. Andre Dozel, absolutely keeping this guy. He is a guy much like Andre Vaughn. Like I said, I do want to keep at least a couple of the players. I really don't want to keep too many. I don't want to keep any more than, like, I'm going to put a camp of like 4 players tops that I want to keep on from the squad that I inherited from MasterBucks towards the end of this career mode. Andre Dozel, I definitely have him as being one of the guys that I am going to have with me at the very end. Leo Auer, despite only getting 8 I'm saying only 8, but he only played 20 games and managed to get 8 goal contributions. But he's grown by 13. That's from me switching him from a striker left wing. And this guy's been absolutely incredible, especially in sim games. So he's definitely a keep. Woodyard, he is going to be a sell. He is going to be approaching 29 years of age. Guy doesn't really have a whole lot of potential. He's only grown by 1 despite getting a decent amount of appearances. Joe Bryan, like I've been saying all along, he is going to be a sell. I need a way to raise some cash going to League One. Josh Scowen, I am going to be selling him as well. It's taking him forever to get from a CDM to center mid, and I'm actually shocked that he's actually grown by 2 because he really doesn't have that much potential either. Carol Metz, I am As of right now, I do plan on keeping him, but if I do get an offer for him next year, I may end up using him and either selling him or using him as part of a swap deal to bring in somebody like a Chris Richards or a Yasko Guardiol. But for the time being, I really don't plan on selling this guy. Same with George Dobson, which he's on the same boat as Darnell Johnson I talked about before. For whatever reason, he was supposed to be a loanee here in this career mode, but for whatever reason, like I said, I don't know if it's glitch, but he was a permanent member of this team. He is going by 4. He is going to be alongside Andre Dozell starting next season. Marvin Schultz will be my starting center back, which I already have a guy that I have replaced the guy underneath him, Federico Barba, which Barba I am selling him, though I did find a replacement, which I'll show you guys here pretty soon. Marcus Dobson, I believe I have him loan listed, so. Then Che Alexander, he will be my backup right back next year, which I did find a new starting right back, which I'll show that here in a bit. Columbayi grew by a couple at Heidenheim. Matthew Cox grew by 4 during his time at, I think that's Dundalk. Now, Moyano, you can see he's at a 66 rating. He's grown by 6 during his time, and I believe he's playing the Saudi League right now, but he is actually higher rated than Ferreras, though I do want to keep Ferreras as my starting goalkeeper just because he's been putting up some massive numbers for me no matter what competition he's in. But Jack Madeline out on loan. He will be coming back at the beginning of the next season. He's on a short-term loan at Doncaster. Julio Vergara, I have him on loan at Youngbuck Hyundai. He's already grown by 3. He's at a 64. Anthony Hardigan grew by 3 at Atletico San Luis. Sanov, I do plan on keeping them, though, depending what happens with Moyano or Vergara. I might end up recalling at least one of these guys, and I may end up transferring Sanov. So, if I don't sell him next season, I will definitely sell him in Season 3. So I'm waiting for a loan offer for him. Hopefully he'll get some game time somewhere. Rudoni did get 5 appearances under his belt this season, but I do have him loan listed as well. Same with Hussein Byler. Played a couple games in the FA Cup. Will Nightingale has grown by a couple during his time in Turkey. Ethan Chislett, I think I have him loan listed, but if I don't get any offers from him come the end of the summer transfer window, I may end up transfer listing this guy, but he will definitely be out of the club at some capacity. Ewan Proctor was my 4th string center back here. I did try to loan this guy out, but he just keeps on rejecting them. Thomas May, 58 rated center back, he again loan listed. James Stewart, high potential winger. I have him loan listed as well, alongside Patrick Shepard. I do have him loan listed, alongside our 56 rated Canadian, Adam Kirk. He did grow by 5. Ronnie Wyatt is another player I have loan listed, 60 rated. He's already grown by 4, the young center mid. Mason Webb is another player I have loan listed, the young winger from England. Xavier Aguilar, 57 rated goalkeeper. I do have him on loan alongside Mikel Bernard, so hopefully I'll be able to get offers for him. Sam Walker, like I said, should have been a loanee, but for whatever reason was a permanent member of this team. I am selling him next year because Ferreras is going to be my guy in between the 6 for me next season, so next to Guinness Walker, he is going to be my new starting left back. He is a default player for AFC Wimbledon here in FIFA 21, so I do end up, even though he is 73 rated, that is ridiculously high for League One, I am going to keep him around. Paulo Su will be my new backup left back. I say new backup left back. He's been the backup left back, but Guinness Walker will be going from right back to left back starting next season, but Osu will be my left back. He's already a 69, so he's at a decent rating, and Ferreras, absolutely amazing. I'll tell you what, this guy, in my opinion, is a close second in Player of the Year behind Andre Avon. The fact that he managed to get 19 clean sheets and 29 appearances as a 17-year-old Spanish Youth Academy graduate that's only 65 rated is ridiculously impressive. But we are going to go ahead. We're going to look at squad attributes. If there's anybody in particular you want to look at, you can just go ahead and pause the video. And right after this, I'm going to show you the players that I brought in that's going to be with me at the beginning of next season. Which, speaking of the next season, which obviously is season 2, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to alternate between this career mode and my Dijon career mode. Because I do want to start the 3rd season of my Dijon here career mode here. As a matter of fact, that will be sometime here in the beginning of February. Which I'm going to... So I'm going to have the first episode of Season 3 of my Dijon career mode on February 1st, and I will have Season 2 of this career mode on February 2nd. So if you're a fan of this career mode, I would circle February 2nd on the calendar, because that is when Season 2 will start. But yeah, like I said, I am going to go ahead and alternate. I'm looking at the calendar on my phone, I'm sorry. But, don't really have that long of a wait for season 2, but yeah, I'm really wait till you guys see. I mean, you guys already saw my short list from the halfway point, so you have an idea who I brought in. But I'm gonna be talking more about that as soon as I'm done with this doing the squad, which there are 43 players in the squad altogether. So, and with my new signings, that's gonna take it to 47. Though, like I said earlier, I do plan on selling a whole slew of players as well. So. Now, the only thing that I can see messing that up is if somehow I end up getting another Youth Academy objective where I have to sign so many players in a position, or sign at least 1 players from all areas of the pitch, or something like that. But without further ado, that is a look at our squad at the end of the Season 1. Again, I'm just going to show you guys one more time. But now I am going to show you guys the transfers that I made that will be starting at the beginning of next year, which I am going to go ahead and... I did end up signing 4 people altogether, which I'm going to show you guys. You can see my short list right here. Some decent rated players, if I do say so myself. I do want to bring in another center back, I do want to bring in another center mid, and I do want to bring in another winger. But the guys that I brought in, I'm going to scroll down right here. Now, the first guy that I signed was Tariq Lamptey. He is not the first choice right back for the Brighton squad in real life, so I figured bring him in this career mode. That way he can be a guaranteed starter. 68 rated. It's not all that much different from the ratings of the players that I have right now. Actually, I can just do this. But yeah, I ended up paying his release clause, which all these players I ended up having to pay his release clause because, well, except for Ida, which I actually did pay a transfer fee for Ida, but Ampadu, Lamptey, and Elise I ended up paying the release clause. Which you can see Ampadu I ended up getting. He will be my new starting center back alongside Marvin Schultz next season, so I did get him. Doesn't say what a squad role is, but I think he is either rotational important. I think Lamptey I signed as important, and the next guy Elise I'm pretty sure I signed as important as well. But I ended up actually no, I didn't pay a release clause. So Ampadu and Lamptey I ended up paying release clause for, and Elise I ended up paying a fee of $3.5 million. And then, what I'm going to do is, I did misspeak in, I did give you a bit of false information at my halfway point. I made a statement that he is higher rated as a cam. Though it is one of his preferred position, he is actually highest rated at the position he's in right now at a left mid. But he is going to be my replacement for Leonardo da Silva Lopez on the squad, much like Lamptey is going to be my replacement for Joe Bryan, and Ampadu is going to be my replacement for Federico Barba. So at least I got those 3 done. I'm still working on a replacement for Ryan Kent, which I'll have to do that at the beginning of next season. But the last guy I brought in is my replacement for Lyle Taylor, he is only 68 rated. I was initially going to go for Joshua Xerxes, but the problem was, A, he was unwilling to locate at this time, and B, even if he did, he is 71 rated. I really didn't want him whining too much in terms of squad rule, whereas Ida, I was able to get him under the rotation squad rule, so he shouldn't be quite as whiny as what if I would have been able to get Xerxes, but I did end up paying $4 million for him from Norwich. So I'm looking forward to, especially Olise, especially with all the attributes that he has, which I'm going to show you guys here right now. You can see Lamptey has the speed dribbler trait, which is awesome, and then Olise. I mean, this guy is loaded. Early crosser, flare, long passer, playmaker, technical dribbler. And this guy, of course, was sold from Crystal Palace to Bayern Munich in real life, and he's been, in my opinion, one of Bayern Munich's best players this season, so I'm tickled pink to be bringing Olise in. But, yeah, I'm hoping to get either Somerville or Gordon, and they will be my Ryan Kent's replacements. Xavi Simons and Dina Bembe will be my Josh Scowen replacements. And I do want to bring another center back, like Chris Richards, I know has a release clause. And I also have Guardiola on my short list as well, so hopefully one of those guys can be available, especially where, depending on what kind of money I get and whether or not I decide to keep Karol Metz or not. But goalkeepers, I'm not even going to worry about goalkeepers because I am sticking with Ferreras. I think he's more than earned the starting position in between the sticks, so I mean, I'm not going to take away any of these guys from the short list, but like I said, my priority, Anthony Gordon is my preferred winger. Dina Mbembe is my preferred center mid, even though it shows he's a right mid. He's actually higher rated as a center mid. And probably, if I'm being honest, I'm actually leaning towards Chris Richards over Guardiola. Just because I can get Guardiola cheap too, because when this game was played, he was just a prospect. But I mean, I can't go wrong either way between Guardiola and Richards. But I do want to bring in one of these two guys next season. So, but yeah, that's all going to depend on how next season goes. And yeah, I will see you at some point. The first episode of season 3 will probably be the first game of the season in League One, whoever that will be. I don't think I'm going to be playing. I really should play in the preseason tournament, just to raise even more money. Though I'm probably not going to show that on camera. I'll probably end up simming through all that off camera. But I will talk about all transfers I made, and like I just said, the next episode will be at the first game of League One, whoever that will be, I don't know yet, but yeah, I'll get to show you the transfer business I made. Hopefully we'll be able to sell the likes of Kent, Lopez, Scowen, Berber, Bryan, and Walker, those 6 players for a good fee. Hopefully we can move those guys on, and of course, and I do want to replace Ngoy. Olise is going to be coming in for Thomas. Ampadu is going to be coming in for Metz. Ida is going to be coming in for Taylor, and Lamptey is going to be coming in for Osu. So, but I really hope you guys are enjoying this career mode. I'm going to be slowly but surely turning the squad into my own because, like I said before, I feel bad for having a bit piggyback on the squad that I inherited from MasterBucks. That was just solely because I was in a transfer embargo. But now that I'm free to spend money again, I am going to be transforming the squad, and even though I will be keeping a few players from the MasterBucks squad, I am going to be turning the squad into my own, and by the end of this career mode, this team is going to be looking much, much different than the squad that I inherited at the start of this career mode. So, but hopefully you guys are looking forward to that. But thank you guys so much for watching this. Hope you guys are enjoying the series so far. I'll be seeing you guys again next time.